Hi there. I just noticed I haven't unplugged my camera, so yes, sorry about that. Seems like all the preparation time went into making the coffee. So let me just change the real camera real quick. There we are. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. Hello, welcome everybody. Um, I hope you're having a great day, great afternoon. It's like 3 o'clock here in Argentina, Buenos Aires. It's nice weather. Not my favorite one to be productive. I like sun to be productive, and it's kind of cloudy today, but we're gonna be fine. Today I decided to stream on Kick as well. So I'm streaming in 3 channels on X, on YouTube, and also on Kick. And for those that are new to the channel or to the stream, we basically vibe code real shit here. Things and apps that work, that have high standards, and not your default templates of AI coding things. So stick around if you want to learn about that. I'm just gonna give it a couple of minutes more just to see if anyone else comes by. Yesterday, we were testing the new Google AI Firebase Studio, I think it was. It was really, really messy because we were like going in a very saturated time. Everyone was using the tool, I assume. So the AI model was really, really slow. It wouldn't even let me allowed to access like the main model that the people were talking about. So I ended up using like the old model, which is like an older version of the Firebase Studio thing. It was awful, to be honest. Like I never tried Google Gemini for AI coding before, but it was. I mean, it has its ups and downs, and I'm guessing it was a really, really bad time to test it out because of the demand. I like that it was really sequential, so the AI will tell you like the plan, even if you didn't ask for the plan. But at the same time, it's really slow in terms of implementation, right? So if you write like a feature, it would start really, really like polishing the details about the logic, the backend, and not really making any meaningful progress about testing the features like in a with a UI elements or any kind of component that you can interact with. So it's really slow in that sense. Just gonna turn off the music a bit slower there. You can hear me better now, probably. I also have to get like a sponge for the mic. I'm using a sock right now. I will definitely show you. But I'm using a sock and it's not making a great job filtering the pops. So yeah. So if you're watching, drop a comment. I'd like to see who's watching, where are you from, why are you here? That'd be cool. I want to meet you. I'm preparing a banner real quick to show in the stream. There you go. I think now we are ready to go. So let me give you some context of what we are building, what we were building these past days, and maybe outline a bit of what can we get done for today, right? I'm gonna try to make some progress like out of the screen as well, because I'm noticing some of the progress is really, really slow. Like on stream, like usually I will jump in and have like a 4-hour session of coding, but I don't have the guts yet to make a 4-hour stream. So it will be a nice idea to make some progress and then come back to this 1 hour, 2 hour sessions, just polish some details and maybe showing the most important, impactful like stuff we can do for the app progress. That'll be nice. So let me show you the Figma real quick. This is what we are trying to build in a nutshell. Um, we want to try to build like a gamified habit management tracking app, right? That allows you to have like an RPG element of having a character with combat stats and level up systems, so you can like log in your habits and earn experience from it. And maybe in a later stage, what I want to do for the next version, which I think it's going to be like the frosting of the cake, it's going to like create a whole combat system, right? So you will not only have your character here as a collectible item, but it's something that you actually can interact with in a like with a game dynamic where you kill monsters and rewards and all the stuff. I think that's gonna be cool. I myself are going to definitely use this app. So where we are today, let me show you like the progress we made. Yesterday, the day before yesterday, we implemented the basic auth, and I made a couple of external commits. Like I do that by using Cursor or any like IDE code editor, where I show people how to upload your custom fonts to the project and use them, right? It's gonna take a while to load, but we're gonna give it a chance. It's lovable. It is what it is. And I'm just gonna check the stream to make sure everything is okay. Yep. All right. Great. So I think what we're going to try to do today, I'm gonna check the vibe document, which is kind of this guide I'm making myself to try to guide me through the app development process in a way that reduces errors and bugs and focus on building like the most fundamental pillars of the app, right? That the most important systems, the most robust features and implementations it's going to have. So now that we have the auth, the basic login and register, I think I have two steps right here, right? I can either implement the habit management system or the experience and level up system. I think it's probably better, right, to start with the habit management thing, because this is going to provide the experience and like feedback for this other system, right? So what I want to try to do today, something that I never done, and by coding an app before, but I think it could be like a really good idea, is I'm going to try to build like the feature in a sandbox, right? So instead of expecting any final screen from the lovable editor, I would like for it to build like a sub-page, sub-folder where I have a sandbox where I can test all the backend functionalities for the habit management system. So once I can test it out there, I can like reuse the logic it did for the final UI components that I want to build. Like, so let's jump ahead with that. I'm a bit slow because I just like to take things chilled when I'm drinking coffee. But honestly, I'm just waiting for the lovable screen to spin up. So spin up lovable, please. I'm gonna choose a mobile layout because it's a mobile first app. Okay, there you go. So you're gonna say if you log in right now, I think this was a testing account. I hope so. Yes, right. You're gonna see you have character creation is complete. You can like edit the character from here, I believe. Yes, this is like the basic creation screen you gave me. I'm also really excited about using the new OpenAI model to kind of come up with the icons on spell icons and stuff. That's gonna be really fun, in my opinion. And okay, this is what you can do right now. All right, this is your dashboard. Like first screen, you have the character's name, the class, the level, and the experience, right? So what I'm gonna do is, I don't have any prompt prepared for this, so I'm gonna improvise a bit in trying to tell the the AI model to build the sandbox I just mentioned. So I'm just gonna check the custom instructions right now, the custom knowledge, because I put some instructions there. Okay, that's fine. And okay, I'm in the bit of a dilemma right here because I have a couple of colors here, and I don't know if I want to implement them yet or just wait. I think we just wait, right? Yeah, we're just gonna wait for that. This is not it, right? So I'm gonna go to another project I have because there's a really useful prompt that I made. I think it's in this project. It's also the past version of what I'm working on right now. I'm gonna use a prompt that allows me to kind of unfold the feature in a better way. So yeah, the AI knows exactly what I expect from the feature interactions, backend, front end, and it's a really, really long prompt. I can share with you later if you like. That's basically before coding, following the steps, and I'm just gonna tell it, okay, let's proceed to work on the habit management system. I would like to try something different where we create a sandbox in a subfolder or something like that, where we can safely build and iterate on the feature we'll build before worrying about integrating it in the main flow, user flow of the app or any UI components. Also, for the development of the feature, please, before coding, follow these steps. I think we can trace this better. Ask me these questions to get more context. And just to make sure this doesn't like code anything, we're gonna choose the chat only mode, and I'm gonna hit enter. Let's see what it comes up with. It's reading some pages. Okay, it's asking me the questions, right? So we're gonna reply to each one of this. Data structure. I usually do like this to reply, like try to match the order of the bullet points. Sometimes it gives you numbers, so I use the numbers labels if it gives it. What specific information should we track about each habit? I think we've already actually created the database for it. So we're gonna make sure we're using the same. No, actually we don't have it yet, so okay, that's fine. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to resort to the Vibe document, right? If you check the Vibe document, there's a suggestion for the habits tables here, which is like habit ID, user ID, habit name, frequency, status. And I'm going to check the Figma to make sure that I'm not missing any kind of value, right? So we have the name of the activity, we have the frequency, the difficulty, and I believe, I'm not sure if this is something that should be like stored as part of the table, but I like the experience to be different based on the difficulty level, right? So I don't think we need to create a table for that. So we're just gonna replay it based on what we just see. So the data structure will be what specific information, name of the habit. I don't think we have description, right? That's not needed, no. Frequency, and I'm going to try to also like explain what are the choices I want for each option. So for example, for frequency, I like it to be daily. Sorry about the background noise, by the way. Daily, weekly. Let's say bi-weekly, why not? and then monthly. I think I want that for now. Then the difficulty level. Oh, sorry. Difficulty level, which should be easy, medium, and hard. Actually, I have four difficulties here, so um, I'm gonna try another one. So easy, normal, or medium. I think normal is a bit better word for difficulty. Hard and I don't know what could be like a fun word to describe something like a quest or like a RPG mission here. I'll take suggestions from the chat if anyone's watching. Maybe I don't want to use very hard. Extreme, I don't think extreme is a word. Maybe inferno, something like that. No, I want it more associated with habits as well. So something that's really like difficult. Is it hard? I'm just gonna go with I don't know, impossible. That sounds fun. All right. What else? Associated stat. Okay, I don't need that. I don't want that kind of system. And XP reward. I'm gonna make clear here my previous thought process. So because I don't know if it's needed to have like a table for the XP reward, I'm just gonna make sure that explain that XP reward should be based on the difficulty. So I don't know if we need a data structure for that or just logic. I'll leave it to your suggestion. Great. Should habits have categories or types? That's a good question. I mean, I don't see them having categories right now, but in the future maybe. So let's just say no for now. No, not categories, but as described before, they will have frequency associated, which should dictate how often they can be completed. Since I'm starting to wonder right now what kind of logic I want to implement for the frequency, because it could be from the time of the creation of the habit, it passed like a week, so you have to wake up with for that. Or if we have like set blocks of time, for example, like week 1, week 2 on the month, I feel like that's going to be easier to manage. Yeah, I'm just gonna leave it blank for now. Should habits be connected to a specific character stat? No. Habits will only be connected to XP gains. Do we need to track habit completion history or just current status? That's a good question. Do we want habit like something where you can check your completed habits? Yes, right? Yes. We need a way to check the habit history. Okay, let's go with the logic questions now, right? How should XP be calculated when habits are completed? Is it fixed per habit or variable? Okay. It's kind of hurting my brain because it's asking me so many things about like the systems that will be integrated into the game. So for example, like the level up and experience game, and I need to be really careful with that, right? So how should XP be calculated when habits are completed? Is it fixed per habit or variable? I think we're gonna use. I want to make. I don't want to make it fixed because it means that if someone has a character that is like really a high level, when they complete habit, it's gonna mean so little. But at the same way, I don't want to make it so it's always like dynamic based on a percentage or something like that, because then it will kind of lose that sense of each level being harder, which is something I want to keep. So I'm just gonna tell exactly that to the AI. I'm gonna tell him I would like a calculation, a type of calculation that makes every level harder to level up, but at the same time, something that scales with the character's level, so it's not that hard for higher levels if it was something like fixed XP. Okay, should completing habits impact any character stats directly? No, we already told them no, only XP. Will there be any streak mechanic? Yes, this is actually something I'm really excited to implement. Like, I want to give them something like rested XP in WoW, where if you, or Duolingo, right? If you have the streak, then that could like sum up to some of the benefits you get from like completing the habits, such as experience or goal when you get into the combat system. So I'm gonna tell it, yes, I'd like to implement a daily streak mechanic, which should work as a small XP bonus based on the streak's length. I think that's gonna be like an element of the app that, just like in Duolingo, it helps people a lot, like to motivate them to come back every day, which is also key if you're kind of trying to build a new daily habit, for example. Mhm. Next question. So should habits expire or reset after certain periods? Yes, habits should reset based on their frequency. Oh, by the way, I think I didn't add the one-time frequency yet. One time. And I'm gonna provide an example here. So for example, if an habit is set to daily and it was completed the next day, it should be marked as not completed. Yeah, that's enough for now. What's the next question? Are there any special conditions for habit completion? I don't think, no. Nope. Interface. How should habits? Okay. I'm just gonna make sure I'm very clear here about not really wasting any kind of coding into coming up with a usable UI yet. So I'm gonna make sure to add. Remember, I would not. I don't want to focus on UI too much right now. Just create the sandbox to test the entire backend for this functionality. But I will still provide some answers that will help you know how this will be implemented. So what did I mean with that? That, for example, although I'm developing like a sandbox, maybe the habits, for example, I'm going to display the habits in a list like this, right? Let me see where it's clear. See, like this. So it will be cool if you can start to think about that this is something that's gonna be displayed in the future as a list element. So we're gonna try one in interface. They will be displayed in a list that can be embedded in different screens, and that also exists in its own list. page here. Should we include visual indicators for habit progress streaks? Okay, now something I'm picking up from the questions he's asking me is, although he asked me about the streaks, it's not clear if he will use like a habit-based streak, so it will create streaks based on the same habits completion, or just by creating a single habit per user per character. So I'm gonna make sure I make that clear for him. So the daily streak mechanic, right? Visual words and multipliers. The daily streak should consider any habit completion for the day and not be based on the particular habit completion per frequency. So for example, if someone completes any habit today and then tomorrow he will have a streak of 2 days. Doesn't matter if they were different habits with set frequencies. Okay, next. Should we include visual indicators for habit progress? No, because the habit progress, I'm just gonna say no. That's no need to add like extra characters here. Do we need notifications or reminders for pending habits? This is tricky because I don't know if I want to. I'm gonna say yes, right? I would like reminders for frequency sensitive habits, so those that aren't one time. But I don't want to. Also, I just remember I'm gonna check the custom instructions real quick because, yeah, something I'd like to add into this instructions is that this will be a mobile app that I'll turn native using capacitor. So make sure you consider the right approach to build features that will rely on native capabilities. There. Now back to the project. I will use reminder for frequency sensitivity, but I don't want to focus on the reminder feature right now. Just have everything set for when I implement. Notifications. Just have everything set for when I implement the notification system, right? Which is something that I don't think we're gonna worry about the first version, to be honest. Awesome. What's the next one? How will users mark habit as complete? Simple toggle, yeah. With a check element. Check element. That's it. In the lists. Should there be any reward animation when completing habits? Yes, actually, that's a very good question. Yes. I want like to have this small like pop up that comes up every time you complete a habit, so it like tells you feedback about the experience you're gaining, right? So what I'm gonna do is yes, I wanna pop up a small pop up notification element that comes up from the bottom of the screen that will communicate how much experience was gained from completing, completing the habit. And then technical considerations. Gonna add the numbers right here just to make sure you can understand correctly. Should we implement any caching for offline use? That's a good question. I don't know much about caching to be really honest. So I think I'm gonna say no for now. How will the habit system integrate with the level of mechanics? Um, Actually, I have an entire document for that in a different project. I'm gonna try to show you real quick right here. If I open recent, I think it was, yes, this one, right? In this project, I kind of lay down, yes, you see like different documents that I worked with an AI to kind of come up with at least a description of the systems, right? So the direct question that is asking me right here is, how would the habit system integrate with the level of mechanics? So you know what? Instead of throwing confusion information at it, I'm just gonna reply clearly what it's asking. So the habit system will provide XP for the level up mechanic. And I think that's the only way they're gonna interact, to be honest. Yes, I don't think I need to be like explain anything else for now. Do we need any special handling for time zone differences? Yes, for sure. For sure, because we want like daily things to be daily for the like in the current time zone. Yes, because we need the time sensitive habits to be based on the user's time zone. And I think we don't need anything else. We already told them that we want the sandbox approach. So let's see what it comes up with. I'm gonna go default here and click enter. It should begin with the SQL script to create like the database structure. That's fine. We have to swallow that pill. We'll have to swallow a pill and make sure it's ready. Okay. Great. So it's picking up the sandbox thing, creating the database schema. I'm just gonna really go through this to make sure it's all right. It's creating the habits, and it's going to provide the ID, user ID, name, frequency, difficulty, and active. Okay. Then the habit completion table. Okay. Okay. I see what it's coming up with. Yeah. To kind of make this interact together, and he's creating like two different tables for habit and habit completion, because I think that's the best way to have track of things like the time sensitive habits, right? So you need the state to see if this is something that's going to be like updated every certain time, depending on the frequency. And also you need to track each time that gets completed. You need to interact with a different table to provide the user XP, like create a record of each time it gets completed. So that's fine. That's something I will come up with myself. So thank God. Another streaks. Okay, current streak, last activity, updated act. Okay. All right. Yeah. So apply those changes. And let Supabase do its magic. I use the free version of Supabase, by the way. So far, I haven't had any kind of issue with it. But of course, if this is something that's gonna get to, I don't know, more than 100 people per day, then you probably need to use the second tier. Also, I'm really inclined to upgrade the Supabase account these days just because I want to have the database history. So I have like ways to roll back if I mess up anything in the database, which is something sometimes it is a that's a project killer sometimes where you cannot mess up things in the database because lovable has like very limited access to the database relation and integration. So you can only make so many changes in the database. API. Okay, so let's review in Figma what we're going to test and do right now, right? So we basically enabling this, which is like the habit creation thing. Although it didn't ask me anything related to a habit creation, but I'm guessing it assumes that this is going to be a correct system as we tell it before. So it should add create delete function for that system we just created. So this is like the habit creation, and if you go to your habits, it should look like this. Somewhere maybe we want to like delete the stats on the screen, right? Like just delete it and make it like the habits list longer and all. All right. Let's read real quick what it did. The core utility for calculating speed, API layer for corporations, test components. I like that it's creating an API layer because that's something I like to integrate in the future, to be honest. So that's pretty cool that it went with that way. A test component to validate and demonstrate the functionality, great, and updated the dashboard to include a link to the habit management sandbox. Okay, great. So now I have like manage habits here. Okay, great. So habit name is it gonna be test one daily? Let's create one time first and easy create habit. And I have the habit there. And if I create one, two time, I create daily and normal. Okay, normal, daily, about monthly, month, and then impossible. And create hit. I have that as well. And if I click on delete, sure you want to delete this habit. Yes, great, that works. And if I want to complete it, that's okay. That's really cool. It didn't disappear because it's a daily habit, so it wouldn't disappear. I wouldn't like to like have this information at the final component, but that's fine. Let's see what happens if I complete the one time. Oh, right. Yeah, it's not disappearing because I told him that he should keep like track of the system of the habits, even though they're completed or no. And you have the current streak. No, wait, this is wrong actually, right? Because I think it's creating a streak. It's setting a streak per habit complete, so I don't want that. So I'm gonna go to the streak. I'm gonna test that again, and just create this. This is the daily one, so streak T-day. Okay, have to complete streak 3 days. Yeah, that's not bueno. So what I'm gonna try to do is try to kind of fix that, right? So this is an important inflection point in the AI in the vibe coding process because I have two options right now. I can go to Cursor and try to fix this with Cursor, but I think this is a problem that's going to require some database handling, right? So I want Lovable to do it instead because he already has access to the Supabase management. So what I'm gonna do, actually he gave us an error already, right? So okay, so let me think because I don't want to waste any credits right now. So I'm gonna do the following. I'm gonna show you how I will fix this with Cursor, right? So what I'm gonna do is I have a plugin right here which I also developed with lovable. So I'm gonna copy and paste it, and I'm gonna read it to you real quick, right? It says provide the necessary context for another AI to propose a fix for the following bug. adhering to these rules. So the rules are like mentioning what kind of files it needs, what's the problem, what's the step-by-step solution he suggests, and basically like trying to extract how Lovable will solve the problem so I can use Cursor to waste less credits to solve it. But using the same context and like instructions that Lovable with. And something I want to add here today is if the problem doesn't require any database handling, fine. And I'm gonna tell it the build error. Because like the last step of that promise, just describing what's the bug or thing I would like to fix. But in this case, it's the error it's given. So we're not gonna fix the strict thing yet. We're just gonna make sure that it's solving whatever error it throws here. So I'm gonna go there. Oh, and actually I should have selected like the chat only version, because sometimes it would go and fix the error directly, even though, yeah, you see, it's fixing the error even though it said only to provide the instructions. But that's fine. We should have picked like the chat only model here. But that's fine. We're gonna get so many errors later, so it's okay. We'll try it out with another error. So it's writing right now. I really like that it's using the colors and stuff. I get it. Although you can see right here that it's blank page screen. I don't know why. And I'm also gonna check if whatever's happening with the streak is because of the daily choose of here and not because of any habit, right? So I'm gonna create a new one, and if I click on complete it, yeah, it's adding streaks no matter what. I've completed, okay? So we're gonna fix that in a second. Also, this is like staying for too long. The error was fixed. Okay, so it fixed the errors. I don't know what was happening, to be honest. But we fixed it already, so we're gonna trust him. And now we are going to proceed to, I'm gonna go the chat only mode, and I'm going to provide the same message. But instead of mentioning the build error we're not getting anymore, I'm gonna mention whatever change we want to build, right? So the bug is, right now, the current streak is considering any habit completion instead of considering the how would I instruct this? Instead of considering the time window. For example, I'm creating a couple of habits, and each time I mark them as complete, it's adding 1 day to the streak, which shouldn't happen because only 1 day can be added to the streak every day. I think that's enough, right? Do we need to consider any other kind of extra scenario? I don't think, right? So, and okay, maybe I want, because this is a sandbox, maybe I want to create some kind of button that will like add a day in the current clock, so I can test if the current streak is effectively working, and also if the habits reset themselves per day or per time period. Also, adding to the sandbox a button that adds a day into the current user clock, so I can use it as a way to actually test the time sensitive features. Hmm, also add a button to reset. No, that could be really messy. Um, and I'm just gonna add and make sure the habits respond correctly to the clock. So if I hit the button and have a daily habit there, it should reset because it's detecting and a day. Same with the street, for example. And okay, so I wonder if there's something that will require a database. Only if the problem doesn't require an analysis, following the next instructions. If it requires database database handling, just reply with we gotta do this together. There you go. I don't know why now you get like this chat only costs one message, but actually if I go to the daily limit, you're gonna see I've only wasted 3 messages, right? So I don't think they actually count. Yeah, we gotta do this together. We gotta do this together. And okay, so let's go on. Implement the plan. What I'm basically, again, what I'm trying to get him to do is if this needs super base integration changes to things like the database structure, do it yourself. Wow, it's just replying now with I think I broke it with we want to reply. And it actually wasted a no way. That actually wasted a credit. Okay, that's a bummer right there. So I'm just going to I need to come up with a better prompt for that. This was really improvised. Wow, I really hope I didn't stuck the AI in a loop because this is weird. I mean, it replied, "We gotta do this together after implementing the plan." Okay, it's not. It's working. It's working, guys. Chill. What I want to make sure I understand what it's doing. So it has the date. It's gonna create a table to that day offset thing we want to do for the ad for the sandbox. I'm not pretty sure if that's a good practice, to be honest. I don't know if I want to have that table there for like a final version, but I really need to test the daily thing, so I'm gonna go with add the feature to that. Yeah. Okay. Good. Now it's writing code. It's doing what it has to do. And while that writes code, I'm gonna be right back. I'm just gonna get a glass of water. So okay, we're back. It's still writing. It's fine. It's fine, buddy. You write whatever code you need. I'm here with you. I'm holding your hand, lovable. You can do this. Trust you. You gotta put that vibe in, you know what I mean? Or vibe code in. You gotta vibe in. Other way, it's not going to work. Just like that. That's the vibe principle. I think after we kind of solve that, the next step will be instead of a new habit like checklist like this, I would have like an icon based thing, selection like this. And then I think that's it. Maybe editing the habit. So if I want to change the name, that would be cool as well. And yeah, and everything else can wait. So fix the streak counting when ensuring only increments once per day. The streak now only increases when habit completes on a different day. Great, and let's check real quick what kind of error it is. Wow, a huge error. And I'm gonna try the prompt again, right? So I want to. Also, I want to check if this really waste a credit. So I have 100 credits right now. So if I go and type this, if I go and say this, and I check the credits, yeah. Well, it hasn't replied yet, so let's wait. Okay, so check this out. It didn't reply with we need to. Okay, I didn't actually add that instruction. That's supervised size. Okay, but I think it's proceeding without telling me that it needs database structure. I'm gonna check the messages, and that actually did waste the message. So I think my little cursor hack won't be as effective anymore because that's actually new. That's so dumb, level. Like, why would you freaking waste your credit out of that? I think it's still useful because some of the times you don't get the solve in the first try. So you know what? We already wasted the credit, so I'm gonna go and do it on cursor. I'm gonna go to that project, which is this one. For Genesis, right? I'm gonna make sure I fetch the latest version. There you go. And now let's test it locally. I'm gonna open that. What's the root? I think I need to be logging first. Manage habits. Okay. And then from here, we're gonna go and give cursor the instructions he just mentioned. So here, I'm gonna go to cursor and open a new window in the chat. New one. Can I pick code base here? I think I can. I don't know why you can pick like code base anymore here, but that's fine. I'm just gonna go and say agent and make sure I choose Claude 3.7, the free one, and then bam, hit enter. Now I'm telling it to do exactly what Lovable just recommended. It's already making changes. The typecasting approach. What? Finally, let's make sure both files are complete by updating the final superbase query. Do you have any? He has some context of what the database structure is because of the superbase file here. Which one it is? Superbase. Okay, now we're gonna accept it all and test these changes locally. So if I go and test the project here, well, it's awkward because I don't have a way to get the build errors like this in. I don't know how at least. So I don't know if it worked or not. But we're gonna go ahead and try to test the implementation we just set up, right? So we're gonna delete all the habits we have right now, like this. Then we're gonna create a new one, workout, and I'm gonna make it daily, normal, yes, creating. Awesome. And now I'm gonna hit complete, and that should streak. It added a streak, and it added XP as well. That's fine. And then if I create another daily one, so workout 2, this one shouldn't contribute. Yeah, it is contributing actually. I'm gonna go and create another one just to make sure. Workout 3. Did it? And it is creating the streak. So, okay, we're gonna make sure we, first of all, I'm just going to upload these changes to the current repo. So lovable uses the latest version. Git add, git commit, fix, git error, git push. Okay. And now we gotta wait for lovable to spin up. It should get like a new notification here saying that it got that push we just made. So we're gonna wait for that. We're gonna spin this up again. Did it work? Yes. Yes, actually. Okay. Come on, lovable. You need to wait to load the. You need to load the latest commit, my buddy. You're just gonna reload. There you go. Now it shouldn't be giving us the build error at least. Yeah, this is the old build error. And I'm gonna make sure that it's in the mobile view. And yeah, what we're gonna try to fix is that that weird current streak thing, right? Let me see if the day thing is working. Advance to the next day. Okay, it is. But as you can see, yeah, if I advance the days, it's not updating the habits. Oh, why did it stop? Oh, because I'm not running the server anymore. Sorry about that. Okay. So if I advance the day, and yep, it's not updating the habits. That's a bummer. This is a bummer. At least this is not spinning yet. This is weird. But this is also typical lovable, by the way. You always get this. You always get this awkward loading time in lovable. Or maybe we did broke the the app, and for some reason lovable is not being able to show it. which could be a possibility too. I'm not gonna lie. It's hard to tell because again, this can wait. This can take a lot of time to load sometimes. Okay. Can I hit preview here? Yeah, you can see by the loading time of the preview that it's lovable, but it's failing. Do we want well, because lovable is taking a lot, I'm just gonna go ahead and try to fix the error using only cursor, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and say, help me fix the following bugs. One. And test habits. I'm trying to get the habits daily streak to work right. Right now, it is adding a streak count when I complete each time I complete a habit. Which shouldn't be happening. Instead, it should only add one streak count if the habit completed is the first one to be completed in that day. And also, what was failing that we saw here? I forgot. There was something else failing, but I kind of forgot right now. Which was the habit streaks. That's fine. The advanced day. Oh yeah, that the fact that if I advance the date, the daily habits aren't really changing. So that needs to change as well. The habits in the list are not responding to the advance correctly to the advanced day button. The advanced day button is adding one day to the user's block/time so we can test the feature over time. However, if I add a day right now, daily habits that were complete are not refreshing to be available to be complete in the new day. We should make sure this happens for every time sensitive habit scenario. So daily, I'm gonna say it lovable already. Okay, finally. Yes, let's just do it with lovable. So yes, I think the progress looks like this. We want to make sure the time thing works all right, and then the experience is awarded to the character somehow. So we want to add like in that sandbox, we want to add like experience bar so we can keep track of some experience, and also add the buttons like the correct. I think this is not needed for the sandbox. Like we can do this effectively when we implement the UI. What else? I think that's it. If we manage to solve the time thing and test it, actually, I think in the vibe doc we have a couple of testing scenarios, right? So the habit management, like checkpoint validation here suggested, is have it add delete with the status updates. So we right now are testing the status updates based on the time and stuff. But I think we had other QA scenarios here, if I'm not mistaken. No, we don't. Sorry, it's just that I've iterated through so many vibe docs that some of them that I did in the past were having like a checkpoint where you could have like QA under the scenarios. So you will go through user steps to kind of test the feature. Okay. It says it fixed it, so we're gonna test that. Okay, so we have workout, right? We have workout. So if we go ahead and say complete workout, it didn't add a streak. That's nice, but it is now. It's not like marking the habit as completed, and it's now adding a streak. What the fuck? Also, the streak. I think the streak is not being saved to the database. Is it? Because it reset it, right? We have like 6 days in the previous iteration, so I'm just gonna check that number is actually. Oh yeah, so it gonna reset for some time, for some reason, but that's okay. Let's do something, because those habits were already created. That might have something to do with the fact that this is not working as intended. But if we delete them and now try to come up with new ones. So we have one habit here. Damn, this notification. I need to add the next to this notifications as soon as possible. So, okay, we have the one. If I click on completed, complete. This is not working, my man. Okay. This is, you know what? I'm gonna try the very same instruction with cursor and test cursor's version just to see if he does a better job at it. I have the local version here in cursor, so it's not, unless I push these changes, it's not going to reflect these changes in lovable. We're just waiting for this to complete now. Right. Emoji complete habit. Okay. Now let's test that thing up. Right. This one, I'm gonna reload it. I'm gonna delete this habit right here. Test one. Create habit. Bam. If I click on complete that, okay, it's adding experience point. It's not adding any streak. Okay, I like that. It's at least this version. It's not adding any streak. So that's progress right there, folks. I'm gonna try and see if a new habit adds any kind of streak as well. Okay, so the streak version is working fine on the cursor version. I like that. So let's advance the date just to make sure we can test the streak thing is working. If I not complete here. Hmm. This is weird because it says that I think the thing right here is not really considering the testing day. So that's maybe if I create a new habit here just for testing purposes. Yes, it's still using today's date. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna tell cursor, okay, help me fix the following bugs. One, the advance the testing date seems not to be considered to register the habit as completed. So even though I advanced the days, when I complete a habit, I'm still getting today's real date. It should work like this. If the habit should consider the testing date here on the sandbox only, and the real date outside of the sandbox. So, okay. I think no more instructions are needed for that. And then what else? Oh, and the second thing is when I complete a habit that is set to daily, it should show as completed. So not allowing me to tap and complete it again if I already did it for the time period it is set to. This should be the same for the other time sensitive scenarios. So for example, if I complete a habit, it should validate habit. It should show as completed until the next day. Let's go ahead and try to test that. Let's also see what was the last step with, yeah, like lovable didn't really fix the bug, so maybe it is a good thing that we kind of developed the sandbox with, or at least perfection, the sandbox with cursor. I think the only thing I really need for lovable to build the sandbox is database integrations. So let's see what cursor does. I have faith in cursor, bro. You could also, like, to be honest, you can create a communication between cursor and the superbase we're using. I just don't know how to do it, but if I ask him, I could do it like in a couple of minutes for sure. So he will have access to the database as well. Let's try to see the changes he came up with. Philip Genesis, reload this. We're gonna complete this habit. And okay, it's marked as completed and it sum up a streak. If I complete this one. Okay, there seems to be a problem, right, in the relationship between when habits reset and when they add a streak. That's what I'm getting, yeah. Because now we fix the habit completion per day, and if I advance one day, at least that should Yep, that's working good. But as you can see, if I keep completing days here, it's adding streak. And the streak for some reason is also like resetting itself. If I advance one day, for some reason this first habit of the day, see, like the current streak is resetting to zero. So I'm gonna try to fix those two things now with cursor. I'm gonna tell it, okay, help me fix the following bugs. One, it seems to be an error, to be a, not an error, it's more like a, it seems to be something awkward, I don't know, happening between the daily habit preset and the streak count. Right now, what's the first error that are we getting? Right now, yeah, the daily habit reset is working great, right? It even changes to the right states if I add an advance day. However, now we're getting streak count add again when we complete a daily habit. Remember, the streak should be based on the on any first habit completed per day, but one habit only. Doesn't matter of habit. To another error I'm getting is when I advance a day and mark a daily habit as completed, it is not counting to the streak, but for some reason, every habit I mark as complete after it does count to the daily streak, which is kind of the opposite that should happen. Let's try to see how much this thing gets fixed. Now there's also improved the history maintain function. Okay. Hope, fingers crossed, that this work. I'm just waiting around. Hopefully, if that gets fixed, I will push the changes to lovable to come up with the next like features. Um, but actually, after finishing the habit tracking system, we need to work on the experience level up system and also the character and sub management. If we get those three things right, we have like the building blocks for doing any kind of UI thing where we show what we want to show to the users with the right logic implemented. Oh, this is still making changes, right? Okay. It seems it already fixed it, so let's see what the changes ensure. The streak count increases only once per day when the first habit is completed. Great. After advancing update, the streak will properly increase on the first habit completion of the day. All habit completions are properly recorded with the adjusted date. Daily habit shows as completed immediately after completion until the next day. Let's test that. Okay. So we completed these habits already. So okay, then advance one day, and they show. And if I complete the streak, it should summon one streak. It is not okay. It is no, it is not. If I complete the second one, neither. The third one, okay. And if I let's advance another day just for testing purposes. Nope. And if I create a new one, like let's create a one time. Also no, let's create a daily one. That's 5. And let's tell cursor this. When I advance one day, actually the streak count is not working, so the streak count is not working on the sandbox. Keep in mind that I have an advanced day looking here for test purposes. When I advance one day, the habits the habit status is all right, but not a single habit being completed is being considered to increase the streak in this test scenario. I feel like he's using two different dates. I think that date it's manipulating with the testing button. It's not the actual, and you can see it. Okay, no, it is. It is actually. You can see in the date here of marking the habit that is using the right date. Let's see what it's doing here. Of course, I think the the increase date button is really making things a bit more longer than they should, but it's the only way we have to test that this habit's actually gonna get reset by the time periods and stuff. I'm also kind of scared because I think I will need to do it with every time sensitive condition, so weekly, monthly. I think right now it's only fixing for the daily habit. I'm gonna accept all. And then let's advance one day first. That's another condition we need to consider it, right? If the current time, like streak should be days consecutive. So if there's like a single day period between completing task, it shouldn't count. It should reset the streak. I feel like defining the streak should have been like its own feature, to be honest. More complex than I thought. But let's try this. Okay, if I click on this, complete it, it's completing the habit and it's not adding to the streak. But for some reason, this motherfucker, it's adding to the streak. And also this one. That's that's crazy, dude. um, that's crazy. I think we'll need to kind of redo this the strict system probably, or maybe try to separate the features. So maybe I want to just get the habit system right and then remove the strict system for now until I get the habit system all right. Um, Pasteurized Zabat asks what's this website? This is lovable. It's lovable.dev if you're referring to the tool I'm using. It's lovable.dev. And for the code editing, I'm using Cursor. Both of them have paid versions. And then what you see in the screen, it's the app we're trying to get built. But we're facing a real struggle here with the current streak. Okay, so let's try something with Cursor. Okay, I'm gonna tell him to kind of remove everything related. Okay, remove everything related with the habits trick for now. I just want to get a clean slate for the habit management and test that because the what? The strict system is failing miserably. I'm gonna be dramatic with this AI. Lovable.dev, ladies and gentlemen. I want to check the user streaks right now. Yep. Okay. Yeah, I feel like that needs its own separated logic. The streak feature. It's really the next thing we're gonna work on. But again, I just want to make sure. I just want to make sure that the habits are working well. So I want to remove the streaks right now, strict things. Actually, let me check because I feel like he's making some changes based on what Lovable also came up with. And I'm afraid that they will collide when I try to build a streak feature again. Right now, it's getting rid of everything I did for the habit streak. So he's removed a lot of things. And if we accept that and check it out, now I can. It seems like I can just test the habits on their own. Let's test it. I want to test a couple of things for the habits, so I'm going to focus on that, which are the experience they gave based on the difficulty and the time reset they get. So daily, and it's normal. right? And then we have daily 2, which is hard. And then we have weekly hard as well. Okay, so if I go and complete this one, it should only give me XP. It gives me 11 XP and it's marked as completed. The second daily should give me more than 11. 22, okay, that's all right. And weekly should give me 22 as well, yeah. And now if we advance one day, the daily ones are resetting, that's fine. And they gave XP if I complete them, okay. And the weekly one should reset like at 28. So I'm gonna advance a couple of days. I should add an advanced week button. So let's go to 28, 29 maybe. Okay, that's working all right as well. So if I can complete it, great. Okay, that's awesome. At least now we know that the habits on their own are working, and I'm happy with that. And I think what I want to do right now to finish testing this is adding an advanced month or an advanced week button here, so we can test the other frequency things. Let's create an impossible task as well to see how much XP that gives us. If I complete that, 44, okay. Okay, so I'm gonna go real quick with cursor and say, this is working great. Thanks. Now help me add a advanced week and advanced month button in the habit system sandbox to test the rest of the frequency for the habits. Bam, 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 bam. I really like the background music that Restream offers. I feel like it's a very, elevator plays all the music, but it's not an annoying one. You know what I mean? I feel like I can vibe with this music. Oh. I think after this, I need to test anything else? I think not for the habits, right? I only get the habits strict right. Maybe adding a button to edit the habit, that will be good. Yes. And that it opens in a new window, probably, something like that, for testing purposes. Okay, let's accept the changes and go back here. And okay, I have my testing buttons in there. So I'm going to remove these habits and then create new ones, right? So daily 1, daily 2, weekly, and monthly. No, let's try by monthly first. Bi-weekly. Bi-weekly or bi-monthly? I forgot what's said like name 2 times in a month. I think it's bi-weekly, yeah. And then monthly. Monthly Python, we're gonna call this one. Great movie, by the way. I recommend it if you like gags and awkwardness. And let's test them out, okay? So if I complete the daily ones, great. I'm gonna complete them all actually. Man. I noticed it's taking a while to complete the mark the habits as complete. I wonder if that has anything to do with the fact that we're using an API for it. Okay, advance a date, bam. only the day one is updated. If I click on another week, only this one. If I add another week, the bi-weekly now should work, right? And if I add another week and maybe another week one, yeah, another week, the monthly one should show up, right? One day, yeah, one day. There, I'm on because this was completed 28th of 4th and it's now 28th of 5th. So great. At least we have like the habit frequency working. This was the first time me kind of using this approach of creating the sandbox for it. So I'm pretty content with the progress because we went from just having a login and register auth to having a working habit system, like where users can now create habits. Let's just finish this session by trying to add the edit button here. So let's go. Let him do that. Great progress. Help me with something else. I want to add an edit button on the habits that allows you to change and save any of the properties for it. I think this requires database changes because you need the right policies in order for those data to be updated. So that might be a problem. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna push these changes to lovable. Remove the strict system and added test scenarios for the habits. That's a note, and then git push origin main. Failed to push because the tip of my branch is behind. Damn, that's right. No, wait, I'm pulling this again, right? I made a major mistake here, but this is actually the first time I encountered this error. I'm wondering if I should like go to a different branch, but you know what? I'm going to actually ask Cursor what can I do here, right? So I'm gonna tell them the scenario that just happened. So can you help me with something? I had a different I'm finding the best way to tell them what I did, right? So what I did was I updated the branch on lovable. I updated the main branch, but my local version of the repo is in a step behind from it. And I made some changes from the version that was behind. I'm getting following tickets. Sorry, I was reading a comment, a real funny comment that got my attention. I'm gonna read it a while. I'm getting the following errors. And I would like to just push my current local version as the main branch. Let's see what it comes up with. While we wait, I'm getting a curious question here that says, what would you do if you won a golden ticket to Willy Wonka's factory? Would you go if it was real? Of course. I think that Willy Wonka is like one of the most eccentric characters I've seen in a movie. It's kind of creepy sometimes, but and it doesn't matter the version of the movie. It's always like a bit creepy. But it's such an interesting character, and he's really, really kind. And I don't really like chocolate, so I feel like I would kind of waste some space in the factory because I wouldn't be like up to try everything, the fountain and the traits and stuff. But I'm all in for the gummies. If he has like gummies, I'm up. I think he does in the factory, so I'll definitely go and check out the factory. 777 King. Okay, let's see what the options that Cursor gave me to solve like the GitHub situation, right? I think I can just force it with this command and that's it. There, and it was easier than I expected, to be honest. And now if I come back to lovable and try to reload this, hopefully it's using that force new version. It should appear a message here containing that latest commit message. So I'm gonna wait for that to show up. And then as like I said, we're gonna try to have the edit capability here with lovable, because I think that's gonna make some database changes. Pretty sure it's going to update the policies of the database. This is, yeah, it's taking a while. That's normal. We're gonna reload the lovable again. What would you do, Mike, if you won like the golden ticket? I'm curious if anyone will miss a chance to go to the factory. Honestly, like, you gotta be really grumpy to then decline an invitation like that, don't you? Mm-hmm. Thanks for the offer, Kasuma. I'm definitely going to check it out later on. Okay, let's update. Let's check the GitHub real quick just to see if it actually updated the changes. Yep, updated 2 minutes ago. 5 minutes ago. Yeah, remove the strict system. Okay, all right. I wonder why it's not loading here though. This is just lovable things, folks. You just need to wait some time. It's part of the vibe coding process. You need to be vibing, but you need to be patient as well. It's actually when people ask me like, what's the number one trait to vibe code successfully? It's being really, really patient. You have to train like your patience a lot so you can sit and ask for bug management and try to find around ways of, overcoming the challenge and the error in the book that's happening from other point of view. Going back and forth a lot for sure. Great, it's giving me the version. So if I go to manage habits, I'm seeing the new features. All right, that's all. That's great. I'm just gonna test this thing on the online version. So if I annotate there, that should update. Also, is this giving me experience? I'm not checking out. Like daily 2 is giving me experience. Yeah, it is. Awesome. So now we're gonna add the edit capability, okay? So if I go here and this is a great tool, by the way. This little window you're seeing right here, this is like one of the best Mac apps I've used in my life. Okay, I recommend it to anyone. Okay. It's called Raycast. It's free. It has a free and a paid tier, and it has like clipboard history, emoji control. You can actually like call and use a lot of the apps from that very same window. So for example, if I'm like using Spotify, I can search, hit the next one, things like that. Okay, let's just go to the clipboard history and try to see if I copied I didn't. right? I thought I copied the instruction to add the edit button. I've made a couple of changes. So I'm gonna explain what the changes between the branches I just forced were. I removed the habit streak feature because it was being buggy, and I tried to remove any trace of it within code. Two, what else did I make? I think nothing else. So um, I'm gonna go and just help me introduce. Now I want to add the following in the habits system sandbox. I want to add the capability to edit. Let's just remove the sandbox thing because I just want this to work globally, not only on the sandbox. I want to add the capability to edit habits so you can change and save any value from it. Any previously set value because it has more values that I don't want to change. So that's the completion date, the experience reward, things like that. Yeah, so let's just give it. I think he's going to create a new window or a pop-up to do this on its own. I don't think I need to recommend anything. This is the name of the tool I use, by the way. It's in this side of the corner of the screen. Lovable.dev. So there's that. And again, I just went to, although I think Cursor was working pretty great, I went back to lovable just to make sure if this needed any kind of database change because it's editing things that are saved in the database. It has access to edit it. Maybe in the previous policies it toggled it up, but I didn't realize, so it's okay. It's just one credit. We'll get 5 more tomorrow. And it's a gamble. Like 5 credits, sometimes could be a lot of features. Sometimes could be like 2 features completed. But you have other days where you just waste those daily messages and really dumb things. That's just the way it is. Okay, so now I should be able to edit the habits. Okay, they have a window and great. Yes, this always happens when you add like edit capabilities to a crop feature. I don't know why. Like it doesn't pull up the name, but that's fine. Let's just test it like this for now. So monthly Python, it's daily. Let's go with weekly, normal. And if I weekly Python, it changes. Okay. And I completed, I changed it to weekly. So if I complete it here, and if I advance 1 day, that should not change. Great. But if I advance a week, that should change. Awesome. And if I change the difficulty, and it's weird because see how it's picking up like the last value I just used instead of the actual habit name. It's kind of weird, dude. But okay. Yeah, weekly Python. Let's change it to monthly to bi-weekly Python. Why not? Bi-weekly Python. And if possible. And then bi-weekly Python if I advance a week. Okay, completed bi-weekly Python. And let's move a week. That's all right. And let's add another week. Okay, it seems to be working fine. I think the only problem is that it doesn't resets the completed state if you edit the the frequency. So for example, if I edit like make it daily and it's marked right now as completed, right? And if I go ahead and make it daily, it should reset the habit state, I think. I don't know, that can be pretty confusing for the system, to be honest. So I don't know if I want to do that. You can always delete the habit, I think. So I'm gonna leave that as it is for now. I don't need to be that much. Okay, so I think for now I just need to make sure I have the name of the habit loading in this small box, but I'm not sure if I want to do this on the sandbox just because this is not the UI and the same components I'm going to use to show and move things around in the in the main flow of the app, right? So I'm not gonna waste any credits on fixing that right now because I don't really need it to work here. And it's just a simple database fetching call. So it's nothing, it's something that I can leave for later without worrying it's gonna break anything else, I think. So that's gonna be it for today. Yes. So again, thank you for being here during this time. It was 2 hours, so we're gonna try to do 2 hours from now on every day. And we make some advancements. We have like the habit system, I believe, ready for now, so we can actually start implementing it in the UI. But before we do that, and what will we be doing tomorrow is we're gonna try to create the other systems, which are the level up experience system, which should like increase the XP that you get, from completing the habits and leveling you up. And then the character stats. I think we might create the character stats first because something that needs to happen once you level up is that you get the stat points to assign and stuff. So I think it might be better to work on the stat system before working on the level up system, I believe. So yeah, that's gonna be it again. Just a reminder that you can find me in YouTube as well. I'm uploading a bunch of tutorials in there, tips, tricks that I use to code better, to waste less credit, and to make sure you build things that are working, pretty, and useful with this AI tools. So check it out if you're interested in that. And that's like bye for now. Thanks for joining me today. See you around.